In today's video, we're going to run through something super exciting, creating a Bing Ads campaign. Okay, well maybe it's only me that finds that exciting, but hopefully after this video, you'll be excited too. Now, some of the reasons you should be excited include the fact that Bing has about 10.5% market share of all desktop searches, which is up from 6.4% in 2021, and it also captures other large search engine traffic like AOL, Yahoo, and the much spoken about DuckDuckGo. Now, to take things even further, as it is a Microsoft product, you can leverage LinkedIn ad data to be able to target people based on things like company size, industry, and even company name, which is so powerful and something you can't do within Google. And as a final nail in the excitement coffin, we've worked with hundreds of B2B clients, and even though Bing Ads is always a much smaller search volume, the cost per lead is almost always cheaper and the conversion rate is almost always higher across both paid and organic search within Bing. Without further ado, let's create your first Bing campaign from start to finish. And throughout the video, we'll also be talking through common mistakes which we see all the time, which you should look out for, which should hopefully save you a whole load of time and a whole load of money. So let's jump straight into it. So first and foremost, you actually want to go into Google, ironically, or you can go into Bing, I imagine as well, and type in something like sign up for Bing Ads or just Bing Ads. And what they'll then show you is this £400 advertising credit, which you can click on. And if you spend £200 within Bing Ads itself, as you can see here, then you will be able to be eligible for that £400 free advertising spend, which is always great to take advantage of, especially when you're getting up and running. So click get started here, and then what it will do is make you fill in your details, email address, and then sign up for an account. Now, I've already created an account for a dummy account for this run through because I kind of want to show you some of the data at the end, which is really handy and some really nuanced bits right at the end of the video. So make sure you stick around for that. I'll show you here is a campaign view, and you can set up things like billing down here so you can associate your cards. But I'm not going to waste too much time with that because that's relatively straightforward. So you'll get this view, and if you want to create a campaign, let's jump straight into it. You click on the top left-hand corner, you can click create. But for example, say if you already have a Google Ads campaign up and running, you can click import, and you can import from Google Ads, and you can do it as a one-off. You can do it every, set amount of time. It's very, very simple. Ironically, there isn't a Bing Ads importer in Google Ads. So I think, Bing Ads kind of notice that they're not top of the food chain in this, but gaining market share, so we'll see. So you can import from Google Ads, but we're going to set it up from scratch today. So if you click create, these are actually new this year, and you can see the types of objectives that you want to go after. And you've got conversions, leads, and awareness, for example. The ones we're going to go after today is like lead campaigns. We're looking to generate leads for B2B or service-based companies, or you can skip it and actually go and choose your own one. But this sort of guides you down. So for example, if you click on conversions, it'll give you these three options. If you click on leads, it'll give you these two options. If you click on awareness, it'll give you things like connected TV, which is ultimately being able to connect digital advertising and programmatic from Microsoft, for example, onto your TV and advertise and bid in front of people while they're watching TV programs. Same within LinkedIn as well. Or you can do audience, which is pretty much display campaigns, but can also be things like video. So you can appear on like MSN users video or display ads and stuff. But again, wouldn't recommend doing that. What we want to stick to is the search. So you can either click on leads and click on search campaigns, or you can click on skip and click on search here as well. So let's just click on search, and then let's do search ads and click. Okay, so now we have the campaign setting overview page. So what we can do here is call the campaign name. So for example, we like to say, whoever's creating the campaign, and then let's call it B2B marketing agency is the broad group. Then you can do the match type, which I'll get onto in a second, which would be, say, for example, exact match. And then you do like location, say, for example, just doing UK. So just a broad naming structure, name it however you feel fit, whatever your standard structure is. Next, you have the campaign budget. You can obviously apply different campaign settings or budget settings from other shared libraries or other campaigns you've done previously. Next, we go into location based. So we want to go into United Kingdom. So I can literally just target United Kingdom. And you can obviously remove ones as well, but it's target people in the United Kingdom, and click on this one here, which is the people in your target location. So not people looking for UK based stuff if it's not suitable for people outside of the UK. Same with any locations, or if you are doing it from a like territory, which is like Oxfordshire or Surrey, for example, and people are actually looking for services in your location, you can then look to click on this as well. But we recommend just doing it for people in your target locations. Down here, automatically select the language, which is English. And then just ignore this stuff for now and go on to the next step. So what you can do now is enter the domain of your website. So for this example, let's just use our agency website, which is session-media.com. And you can create an ad group. I'll just call this test ad group. You can again call it naming convention that makes sense to you. Down here, we'll start taking keywords relevant to your site. You can type in your product or service there, which ultimately then will allow you to sort of start doing keyword research. Typically, we do our keyword research before we get to this process because it's much easier, and we do it in Excel spreadsheets and make sure that we actually know the roadmap of what we're going after. So I kind of normally ignore this on the right-hand side. But let's just say we've got, B2B marketing agency as an example. This is very similar to Google, so if you just type it without any parentheses, then it's going to ultimately mean there is going to be a broad match keyword. But then, for example, if you want to do phrase match of this, let's just copy and paste it twice just to show you. This is going to be exact match if you do the brackets like this, and then if you do the inverted commas, that is phrase match. Broad match, much like Google, there is no broad match modifier anymore, but broad match would kind of take this with a pinch of salt and even put in things like phone numbers potentially for your competitors' websites for people in this industry. So it's very, very broad, very similar to Google. Exact match is kind of like the new phrase match, where what will happen is if there's a close variant, you'll bid on just this term, but Bing, much like Google, may also put other terms like next to it, like B2B marketing agency near me, or things that kind of keep it relatively similar to exact match or B2B marketing services at a push. Phrase match used to be just words either side, but now it's kind of words in between, which hypothetically still keep the meaning, but it still can be quite broad. So it could be like top 10 B2B marketing agency near me, or B2B advertising marketing agency. It'll sort of add words around it. So these are the two, especially with high CPCs, we recommend starting with. And if you do then want to block out, high CPC campaigns for well-performing terms, which are exact most of the time, then you can create different campaigns and control the budget and everything by adding campaign. And you can add new ad groups down here. So if you wanted to add a new ad group, and I wanted to do like, LinkedIn ads agency, and then bid on LinkedIn keywords, because obviously the way it works is you're going to have the campaigns at the top which are controlled, and then within the ad groups you'll have then different ad copy associated with these different keywords. So make sure that when someone types in a query, it's going to be bucketed and tightly aligned with the ad copy in itself. So let's just remove this for now. I'm not going to go too much into structure of ad campaigns. I've done a big Google Ads sort of campaign and how you should structure it previously, which is obviously very applicable to this. So let's go save and next step. And you can go here and you can start creating ads. So go create test ad, and you go on the responsive search ad for doing the search campaigns. And you can go on here and type in your final URL, which will be session-media.com. You can add a different mobile URL here, and then you can add your headline. So we call it test one. I'm not going to go here and do ad copy, as that would take a lot of time to go through and create that. What I have done and what I'll link to below is how you can actually go and use your competitors or your own review sites, and using AI to therefore go through and scrape and create like a sentiment analysis, which will show you how you can objection handle, which you can promote things people are looking for from actually these review sites, which make really strong and compelling ad creative, which gets really high click-through rates and hopefully conversion rates off the back of that as well. So I'll link that below just because it's super handy, and I think it's a really nice way to do ad creative. Let's just pull some unique ad copy through from our website here. I don't think we actually have that on our website, but obviously Microsoft own ChatGPT, or 49% I think it is, so they're obviously implementing LLMs into this and AI into it itself. And you can add in images as well if you wanted to. I mean, I'm not going to, but you can see here the ad being built on the right hand side. Let's just call it test for this, and you can see an image appears. So you can obviously see this down here, and you can add some different URL options, which I won't go too much into as well, sort of from the tracking, very similar to Google. So this would all pull across as well. So obviously not the most compelling ad, but make sure this ad is very tightly aligned to your keywords. What we typically try and do in this headline one is make sure this keyword is pretty much a mirror of what they're looking for. So this would be like B2B marketing agency, or like, award-winning, or whatever it would be within 30 characters, to make sure it pretty much aligns to it. And then you can obviously go through and fill these to create it. And when this first one, what we do is pin the top one. So pin this to position one. So every time it appears, this is going to appear first, because if you have like, award-winning, services or whatever as like a second, but that was first, it wouldn't give that continuity or the context of what it is that is typed in, and that, stuff that you need to get good click-through rate. So got the ad created, and then click save. And then what you can do then is start creating ad extensions. I'm not going to go into loads of Sitelink extensions here, but these are the ones which have been available. So we can say we want to add these. Sitelink extensions are pretty much when you go into search, you can see underneath the ad like different callouts and other places that people can go directly versus that page. If you have a high conversion rate optimization, or if you have a conversion focused landing page, it's not always worth having these because it takes you deeper into the site and just kind of it gets a bit lost. But you can have things like callouts, locations, phone number, whatever it may be. You can literally stack your ad to be as big as possible and see which one then Bing allows you to use within the SERP at that moment in time. So we've added those and click save. Cool, added these extensions, and then what we can go down here, you see here price extension, structure snippet, review, call, location, and loads of different ones. So look into those and see if you can pad your ad out and save and go to the next step. And what we can do now is start to look at the budget. So create the budget a day. From a budgeting broad perspective, I'd say try and at least get 10 clicks per day. That's a very sort of finger in the sky, and it really varies depending on it. But to get any sort of traction, we kind of see 10 clicks per day is a good sort of minimum budget to go after a proof of concept. If we're just starting and haven't got any data in the account, we kind of go for maximize clicks, and I'll set a maximize and say I want to send no more than £10 cost per click. Which I mean, then theoretically, this should probably be about £100 if I want to get minimum 10 clicks per day. Just a sort of rough sort of approach for that there. And then you can, once you start getting conversion data and actual offline conversions fed back in through offline conversion tracking, you then start saying maximize conversions or target cost per acquisition, which is really good, but it's not very good at the beginning because there is no data. So Google has no idea what it should be going after, if it's a good lead or a bad lead. And that kind of gets a bit more advanced. But maximize clicks and set the maximum CPC. Fun fact, actually, manual CPC is being reduced, so you only have enhanced CPC now for, you only have enhanced, you haven't actually got just manual CPC, that's actually been ruled out, which is something that Bing have done before Google have done, which I found quite interesting. Little random tip there. And then what you can do here is choose the conversion, so you can choose the one which is we've already set up as including conversions, so the main conversion goal, or you can go and choose your own within it. We only have one set up, and I'll show you how to set this up in a minute with the UET tag. But before we get into that, some really interesting bits I want to run through. The first one obviously is you can target different budgets based on location. So if I wanted to have different locations, I can increase by X amount depending on how well they've performed. I can say I only want to target computer, so I decrease by 100% here, and I decrease by 100% here, because I only want to bid on, it doesn't let you just cancel them out, but it's kind of the best way around it. And then we go to advanced campaign settings. So we scroll down here, we can do things like day parting to say that we only want it to appear at certain days, at certain times. So feel free to go and do that depending on obviously your service, your opening times and everything else. And then from an ad distribution side of things, I'd actually only recommend clicking on Microsoft sites and selected traffic. This is going to be very similar sites to Microsoft, like Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo. This one here, I'll show you in a minute, but if you click on this, it'll pull you up on a whole host of their partner sites, and you can spend a lot of money on very random sites with like 1 to 50p cost per clicks, but they're never going to convert because it's embedded within other sites and just they're in random areas. So just ignore that. So that's really cool. So make sure you go on that, and you can obviously view where that is, and I'll show you the report of that in a minute. But next, I want to go through the edit target categories. So this is where the LinkedIn and Microsoft data comes through. So you can click on things like company, industry, job function. And if I scroll down here, I can start seeing, industry, for example. So I can say I want to target people in the manufacturing industry. I'm going after the aviation and aerospace. I'll click target. I'll click target and I'll click done, and I'll say you can't actually just bid on this term, but what you can do is bid much lower on your enhanced or maximized CPC and say I want to increase bid by 300% for anyone in the activation and aerospace. So if you've got a target ICP or a target audience market that you've got really good case studies for, you're actually looking to go after, you can leverage these industries. You can even leverage companies or whatever it is, or job functions. So just going after marketing managers, you can bid like 1,000 times higher and make everything else quite low. So it's really, really cool to be able to take firmographic data and target within search. It's something that Google does not have, probably will never have. I say never, but obviously Microsoft having LinkedIn and using their data is an absolute game changer, which is why I really like Microsoft as well. So you go down here, you can play around with that as well, super cool, and then click save. Great, campaign created. I'm obviously just going to pause this campaign. Pause all these campaigns around here. And then let's go and look at the campaigns itself and click on social media general. And we can look across here at the different columns. So obviously we've got CPC bid, maximize clicks we're going after, quality score. I won't go too much into that today. Search, and all the sort of data, conversion data and everything around here. You can see absolute top impression share, which is how many times the ad has appeared absolute number one versus how many times it could appear, which is 41%. And it's actually appeared every single time, where we've done this very small, I think 1 or 2 days test for a very exact match term, which is just to sort of show you. Now, the thing I wanted to show you, or if you wanted to change these columns, you can go on to modify columns just like in Google and actually look at all the different performance metrics, share of voice metrics, which you can go and add to this column, which you can see within the field. Now, before I go on to show you conversions, one thing I want to go and actually look at quickly is looking at the reports. So if you go into reporting and you go on to recent reports I've looked at, if you go down here, you can go on to destination URL. What this does, and then when you go into website URL publisher, you can see, like I mentioned, we've got impressions here. We've had 56 impressions from Microsoft sites and selected traffic, which is what we want. But then because we selected include all sites, it's, you know, picked up impressions on things like find.extensively.net or anygator.com. And I don't know about you, but I personally don't want to be appearing on these search engines and paying for those clicks. And you can just see by the quality of these clicks, because it's like 0.7p, and I actually don't know what that site is. So I don't really want to be bidding on that, and you can probably rack up quite a lot of budget appearing within these sites. So just make sure you bid on just the Microsoft sites and select traffic, which is sort of like the premium search engine traffic, like Yahoo, Microsoft, DuckDuckGo, etc. So finally, from a conversion perspective, you want to set up something called your UET tag. You can go on here and click on create UET tag, and you can call it like test tag, and you can put a description here and go save. You want to go install tag yourself and go next. So you can copy this tag here. And what we recommend obviously is doing it on Google tag. Google Tag Manager, sorry, I forgot the name of it then. And then just go on to new, call it like, you know, Microsoft tag, and then configure tag. Because obviously it's not, this is a Google product, they're just being a bit passive aggressive and not including it. So just include it in the HTML. And then put all pages, and then you can pretty much just press save in here. And then make sure you can go and do the standard tests with Google Tag Manager. I'm not going to go too much into that. And then when you go back to this, you can click on back, cancel. So just going to delete this UET tags, I don't need it. And then you can go on to conversion goals, go on create website. And because this tag is being triggered on all pages, just go on, say request quote, for example, destination URL, next. You can then do thanks, or like submit quote, destination URL, and contains thanks. And then what you can do is select a value. Obviously we can do offline conversion tracking and everything else. Keep this as the last click for now. Each conversion, don't assign a value for now, and then you can click next. And what this will do will be then, it will, let's just go through it just so I can show you. And you go and turn on enhanced conversions, which is what we want to do. By naming advanced conversions, you agree. Enhanced conversions are the new thing, which are kind of going to be the things which allow you to kind of circumvent the disappearing of third-party cookies. So people will take email or hashed email data and then try and match it against their database, like Bing and or Microsoft and Google will do it. So then it tries to actually have a non-cookie based way of actually seeing how that person came through, because they have that anonymized data. You go, yes, UET tag wants to install my website, and then go save next. And then if you want to do enhanced conversions, you need to actually then go and install that as well within the Google tag script, or the Google had triggering, so it actually pulls that through as well. And it's all done. So what you can see here is you have a submit quote conversion tracking, which is based off finding the UET tag. It's obviously installed on all pages, just saying every time someone hits a /thanks domain, once they've submitted a form, the UET tag will then trigger this conversion, which is then going to be tied in to all of the other campaigns, or you can go and set it as a certain campaign, or you can set it as the account default. So great, that's everything you need to create your first Bing or Microsoft ad campaign. Hope you found it useful. Any questions, write them in the comments. Want to create some more advanced content around Bing ads coming out soon. But in the meantime, if you want to watch this video I did that was Google versus Bing ads, and actually why Bing ads is better than Google in a lot of different ways, I recommend watching this video now. But yeah, until next time guys, have a good one.